Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I might have to charge up my phone. I think it's about to die. I'm just reading up on all the stuff about Don. Trying to give you all an update. And my computer's tripping. The bitch don't want to move. Give me a second here. It's moving now. Okay. In case y'all haven't heard, Don has been arrested. Not surprised. We are now living in basically the new civil rights era. Basically, the new civil rights era. We have a president who wants to take away everything black. He has done most of that. First of all, by firing a lot of black people who have federal jobs. Um, Arresting American citizens. But none of us should be surprised because they told us that's what they were going to do because nobody wanted to vote for an intelligent black woman and a vice president who was just as intelligent as she is. Don will be out of jail. It won't be anything to me. It won't be anything that serious. Um, but Don Lemon won't be the only one that will be arrested. If they could, they would arrest Kamala Harris. um, I said last night before I close out my show, you have to stand for something or fall for anything. Sometimes, you know, people will get arrested for speaking up for the truth. Yes, I understand they were in a church. From what I understand, they were in a church or whatever the case may be. But you know what? All of this is is irrelevant. All we need to know is about the Epstein files. This administration has covered up everything. They will not talk about the files. They keep doing everything to distract us from the files. But you know what? I've told y'all this once and I've told y'all this twice. Y'all, whoever voted for him, this is what you get. And unfortunately, we have a lot of black people who voted for Trump and is still on the Trump train. You know what? I'm gonna say this. You know why we ain't gonna never get ahead? Because we don't stick with one another. You know why they're gonna continue doing the things they do to us that they've been doing to us since the '60s and way before then? Because we don't stick together with one another. Mm-mm. They're gonna continue doing it, and it might get worse. If it was left up to them, they would send us all back to Africa. If it was left up to this administration, we would all be sent back to Africa. I'm probably sure they're working on it. I'm probably sure they're working on it. So Don was arrested late last night. He was on his way to a Grammy event there in Los Angeles where he got arrested. He's going to be arraigned this morning. I'm sure he'll be out before the day is over. Um, so what? Martin Luther King was arrested. Jesse Jackson. You know, I heard somebody say it's wrong to go into these churches and stuff. Uh, if you go into a church and you stand up and you say something, um, hold on, y'all. All they have to do is ask you to leave the church. If they ask you to leave the church, then you leave the church. But back during the AIDS crisis, back during the AIDS crisis, some of y'all don't remember this, but when the government wouldn't give uh, my community medication, they wouldn't try to do any research. You'd be surprised at what the white LGBTQ plus community was doing. They was you got to do your research to know what I'm talking about. They went inside government buildings, the White House. They didn't give a fuck. They was trying to save lives when Reagan, who died, and everybody was crying, and I was like, I'm not crying for Reagan. No, because a lot of people died behind Reagan and his shenanigans. Um, so sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to stand up. Sometimes um, Don will be fine. This is only temporary. I promise you. So I'm going to be getting the updates and looking to see, when he does his arrangements or whatever. He'll be out before the day is over. Don will be fine, you know, and Don will get past. We'll get past all this shenanigans, and we'll get through it. He'll get through it. We'll all get through it. But I hope this teaches us a lesson that you got to vote. You have to vote. You gotta vote the right way. You gotta vote the right way. You have to, you know, because if you don't, this is what happens. This is what happens. And I was thinking about something. I said they only. Oh yeah, what I mean? Are y'all surprised? We're not surprised. Look who's in the office. I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised when I heard about it. Not at all. But again, remember, y'all, this is the new civil rights era. This is the new upgraded civil rights era that we're living in now. So I'm gonna keep y'all posted, and I'm gonna keep y'all. I'm gonna keep y'all posted. I'm not allowing Trump supporters in my live because, like I told y'all yesterday, it's nothing. No matter what you say to them, You couldn't, if you could convince white racist presidents that having slaves is wrong, you can't convince these people. So I'm removing everything that's against Don Lemon because there's no need to talk to them and no need to try to argue with them because their minds are made up. I wouldn't give a fuck if it was a church, if it was a whatever. It's a building. You can go in the building and protest until they tell you to get out. You can stay. This is America. Y'all forgot we were in America, but apparently they forgot. That's why I arrested him because of this administration. You can't arrest nobody because they want to protest. I don't give a damn if it's a church or wherever. You can protest wherever you want to peacefully. They do it at the well before Trump got in office. You could do it at the at the in front of the White House. You could do it in like here in Texas. You can actually go into the state capitol and protest peacefully. You sure can. Um, and again, I don't argue with MAGA people. I don't even. I just block them from my page because you can't get into their heads. You can't. No matter what you say or what you do, you cannot get into their heads. You're wasting your time. You ever seen a little, uh, you ever seen a little child that's determined that they want a cookie, and no matter what, they gonna fall out, they gonna pitch a fit, they gonna do everything till they get their cookie. That's how this administration is. But Don will be fine. I'm gonna give y'all an update. I'm gonna give you guys an update uh, after the view goes off. But me knowing Don, and Don has a lawyer, I'm sure once they arraign him, he'll be out. That's more content for him and more views. How about that? Baby, that check gonna be hot. Okay, that check gonna be hot, Don. That check gonna be hot. Well, at least we don't have a government shutdown. uh, and again, for those who didn't know, it has something to do with the protest that they had on the 18th. Um, and the preacher, the preacher. Hold on, give me a second. These people so late talking about breaking news, girl. Y'all late to the party. Who just posted this? CBS News. Y'all late to the party, girl. They posted this 2 minutes ago. Girl, y'all late to the party. Y'all now if PT can get it out before CBS. Now what does that tell you? Anyway, it was not clear what charges he would be facing. None. Some made up charges. Uh, they'll find something. They'll find some charges for Don. Good morning. But they won't find no charges for the Epstein files. Oh no, they won't find those, honey. This ain't Don's first time at the rodeo. He's been arrested before. He'll be fine. He will be fine. Oh, they do protest and they do protest in the houses of power. They do it all the time. That's why a church is a church is open to anybody. But remember the administration we up under now. Things you used to do, you can't do no more. If you do, you get arrested for standing up for right and protesting. Now, if you go to a church, yeah, you are disrupting the service or whatever. But once they say, "Oh, you have to leave," then once you leave, then you should be covered. But if you stay there and you continue, but I'm telling y'all, you sometimes you got to be arrested for standing up for right. Go if you don't believe me, go look up what happened back during the AIDS crisis. It was horrible. Those people was not playing. The Harvey Milk people was not playing, baby. They was going into buildings, laying down, going to sleep, getting arrested, fighting. They was cutting up, and that's how they were able to save a lot of people's lives and keep people from dying from the AIDS virus. But a lot of people died because Reagan and his administration didn't want to do anything about it. They're just homosexuals and they're gay and they need God's, they deserve God's wrath. That's how a lot of people think. So, and then uh, they season ballots from the midterms from 2020. Like, wow. Yeah, a lot of Mr. Lewis, a whole lot of people got arrested. And guess what? Think about it. They got arrested for standing up for right. So what Don got arrested for is standing up for right. Regardless if it was a church or not, he's standing up for what he think needs attention. And by the way, for those who don't know, the preacher at the church where they were at, he's an ICE. He works for the ICE. He's a preacher. He works for ICE. Well, are you surprised? I told y'all this once before. I'll tell you again. We had presidents who stood up for on the wrong side of history by having slaves. So we're not surprised. We're not surprised. Not surprised at all. So I want to keep y'all posted. Y'all might want to watch The View with me. I don't remember. Remember, they are 2 hours behind us, so it's going on 9, 8, 7. It's about 7 now. They probably won't have Don in. They probably won't have Don going to court until around about 8 o'clock, maybe 9, and they'll tell him what his charges are, and he'll post bond, and he'll be out, and he'll be talking about it on his social media. Where the stimulus checks? Where's the Epstein files? Oh boy, I tell you. How many more months of this we got? Yeah, well, I know we got 4 years of it. We're three now, but how many more months before the Democrats take over? Did y'all hear about the man that? Uh, no, no, they didn't. They did exactly what they needed to do. It don't matter. It don't matter. Yeah, where are the files at? That's what's it. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. Sometimes you got, like I just told you, you probably don't know about the AIDS crisis that happened back in the 80s. Yeah, you don't remember that? Well, they did. They went to the Capitol. They went to the White House. They went to. They stood in front of. Go Google it. Sometimes you got to get arrested for standing up for right. It's the way it is. We live in a country where we're supposed to have freedom of speech. But I bet you a lot of people didn't know that it was I bet you a lot of them church members probably didn't know that that man worked for ICE. They probably didn't know that. Here's another thing too, y'all. This is starting to come out now that a lot of these ICE agents are Proud Boys. Same ones that attacked the Capitol are allegedly ICE agents. Yeah. So now, what did she get arrested for? Oh Lord. Church is not private property, baby. Church ain't. When did church become private property? They don't pay taxes. That ain't no private property. The church doors of the church are open to anybody to go in there and say what you want to say. The same Proud Boys that were parting y'all. So when did Miss Thing get arrested? So Shakari Richardson is back in the headlines, though this time it's nothing to do with the finish line. She was arrested in Florida. Deputies say she was driving more than 100 miles an hour. Maybe she was running. This is breaking news, by the way, from PT. 52 minutes ago. No, this is breaking news 2 minutes ago. We're moving on from Don Lemon. She was she driving or she was running? Driving more than 100 miles an hour on a state road 429 near Stony Brook Parkway. The booking photo released shortly after was after her arrest made it way across social platforms within minutes, pulling fans and critics into a fresh wave of debate. Now, deputies reported clocking her, Shakari Richardson, the Olympic star. Okay, deputies reported that she was going 104 miles an hour while she moved through the traffic in the way of described as unsafe. Definitely unsafe. Okay, so a white man went into a Omega church. You're absolutely right. Yes. Did anybody hear about that? Y'all remember the white man that went into what's the name church in Atlanta? He never got arrested, and he was in there, and he was talking loud, calling Jamal Bryant, telling him he was going to hell and every. Well, I mean, they didn't remember when they said, yeah, Newburgh. You remember when they were saying that old boy, he had a gun on him, the man they just killed, he had a gun on him, but they said you can't go to these protests with guns. Well, y'all remember the little white guy that what's his name? That Trump took a picture with. Child, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know the era that we're living in. But anyway, back to Shakari Richards. Here we go. Moderators block any Trump supporter, any MAGA people here. We don't like them here. They're not welcome here because we're not going to argue with them. I'm not. You know how people say we can agree to disagree. No, I'm not because their minds are made up and they know they're wrong. So I'm not trying to get into an argument with them about something that they know they're wrong about. Okay. So she was going 104 miles. Yes, that's speeding. That's too fast. Records show her bond was set at $500. She's already out, I'm sure. And she remained in jail until Thursday evening. Today, Friday. She should be out. The situation spread fast, drawing headlines far beyond the sports world. Do they have her picture? I'm looking for the damn picture. They talking about her headlines. I'm trying to see her damn picture. Anyway, Shakari Richardson, she later addressed the incident and spoke about it. Yeah, she's out. Taking responsibility for her actions. The memory of the moment re- re- resurfaced, resurfaced quickly as news of the latest arrest spread. Still, her resume on the track remains a reminder of what her name carries weight. They're not saying she was drunk. Richardson earned a gold medal with the United States, a four-time 100-time relay at the Paris Olympics in 2024, along with the silver 100 dash. 104. That's fast. Girl, maybe she's going to get a. Is she with men or women now? Oh, we love you, Shikari. We love you, darling. But you're going too fast. All right, let's see if we can listen to the police officer talking about it.
With Microsoft has put into effect what's called a super speed law. And what that is motors that are traveling 50 miles an hour over the posted speed limit or at 100 miles per hour, no matter what the speed limit is, those would be basically labeled as a super speeder. And so when the trooper, the deputy, the police officer sees that kind of driving behavior, which of course puts everyone in danger, not only can they pull you over, because they could always pull you over, they can give you a ticket, but now we can actually take you to jail. You'd be looking at a fine of up to $500 or more. You'd be looking at up to 30 days in jail, possibly. For our repeat offenders, you're looking at up to 90 days in jail or a $1,000 fine. And a second offense within certain periods could actually take your license away, could be revoked for up to a year.
Sergeant Steve Gaskins says more and more drivers are facing arrest under the new law. This dash camera video from a Florida Highway Patrol trooper.
Yeah, going 100 miles an hour is just crazy. But well, anyway. All right, so listen, I'll check back in with you guys after Don Lemon has been arraigned, and after I watch The View, and we'll give you guys an update. Thank y'all for tuning in, and thank y'all for listening. Talk with you soon. Bye.